What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, once again, we are doing career mode, and this is the Canadian Grand Prix. Now, heading into this race, I've got some bad news. Our upgrade part that was supposed to go on the engine for this race failed. So, we're going to have to go through this Grand Prix a little down on power than what I was hoping to be, but hopefully we can make the most of it. It is set to be raining for a lot of this weekend, and you guys know full well that this car really comes alive when it comes to wet weather racing. So fingers crossed they can make up any kind of deficit we would have lost from the engine not being upgraded in the first place. So pretty frustrating considering my first engine upgrade failed straight off the bat. Now my second one has failed as well. It just makes me question why the hell I put resource points towards improving the, the quality components, the thing that prevents it from failing. Why did I even waste the 500, 700, whatever resource points it was each time I did that? I think I did it twice, but yeah, either way, Friday practice. We smashed through all the practice programs in the intermediate conditions, so it made it fairly easy on a very old power unit. But unfortunately, because I did so much running in practice on the inters, I actually haven't left myself any fresh sets of inters for qualifying or the race, so I didn't really think that one through.
Hello and welcome from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, home to the Canadian Grand Prix, for today's qualifying session. And as we count down to that green light, I have to say, Anthony Davidson, that this rain is not showing any signs whatsoever of abating. I imagine we'll be looking at some last-minute setup changes to better adapt these cars to the conditions. What do you think?
The trouble is, Crofty, they need to be thinking about the race tomorrow. You don't want to go jacking up the ride heights and piling on a few points of extra downforce that you're not going to want in the Grand Prix itself. The Parc Fermé regulations mean that you have to make that choice. The best thing the drivers can do is adapt with the tools they have available in the cockpit. Moving the brake bias forward will help stop the rear end slipping out under braking, and opening up the differential can really help tame the oversteer on corner exit. The drivers that can make best use of these techniques will have the best chance for success here today.
Okay, so here we are for qualifying. As you can see, it is raining again for this session, but it's set to dry up in about 5-10 minutes time. So I'm going to go out there now, set a time, and see what we can do. I just want to get a banker down, and we'll use our oldest set of intermediate tyres to do that. But as we head out, it looks very, very slippery out there. It's almost past the point where the inters are past the ideal amount of grip where it takes for it to work in wet conditions. The track is really quite dry. But in saying that, I still wanted to set a lap time on the intermediate tyres anyway. You never know how it's going to turn out because the track can always sometimes take a really, really long time to dry out, and sometimes you might not even get a competitive time in on dry tyres. So it's always good to get a time in anyway. It helps, help get your eye in and make sure you're up to speed with the circuit anyway. But through the final chicane, this lap was very, very sketchy. We're going to improve, but I'm not too sure how much we're going to improve by. It's only one position, despite improving by a good few seconds there. The first lap that we set on inters was absolutely crap. It was just a cool down lap, in all honesty. So we're going out on the dry tyres now, thankfully. The conditions did improve and allowed me to have another opportunity to have another go at things. Unfortunately, the AI got another opportunity as well. And yeah, we're pretty much plumb last at this stage. Through the final chicane, absolutely fly it through there, open the DRS, run up to the line, and it is 9th place. Not bad. Actually, we're in front of Fernando Alonso as well, so yeah, not too bad. As you can see there, second last of the people on dry tyres. So yeah, by the time everyone else went out there and set their own times, we dropped to P16. So in the danger zone, we need to be in the top 15 if we want to make it out of qualifying 1 and through to the next session. This track is only going to improve as time goes on, and I want to make sure that I can get 2 laps in here right at the death. We do another lap, improves to P14. We're still going to press on as well because the track is continuing to get faster and faster and faster. We dropped to P15. Team radio.
You've lost access to one of the gears. We've lost one of the gears due to a fault.
Oh, lovely. That's what you love to hear on your final qualifying lap of qualifying 1 when you're, desperately needing to get out of the session. I think it was first or second gear we lost. I didn't want to run in second gear through the hairpin, and I think we Managed to avoid that fairly nicely across the line. We improved by a 10th, but I don't think that was enough to get us out of the session. Yeah, pretty unfortunate. I probably could have improved by another 10th or two, but I don't know if that would have been enough to get us out of the session. So again, pretty unfortunate. Fernando has actually got out, and he got through with a 13.3. We did a 13.4, and we just ever so slightly miss out on a qualifying 2 appearance in this Canadian Grand Prix. That's amazing. The first time a McLaren Honda has got out of qualifying 1, and it comes in the form of our teammate. Well done. GG. I'll pay him for that. That was a really good lap he must have put in there. It must be said, though, if we would have ran a brand new power unit, I think that would have been the difference. We would have got through to Q2. Wouldn't have been able to do anything about it because we're still too slow. But, yeah, good to see we're kind of making progress and we're, you know, semi-competitive, even though the upgrades aren't there and even the power unit isn't quite there as well, being on one that's fairly worn at this stage. So yeah, that's actually really encouraging. I'm really starting to find my confidence in this car despite not too much progress being made. It's all kind of been on the driver's side of things, but we're now going to put the final upgrade on the car that we can do for the engine, and that'll take effect for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So looking forward to that.
If we keep up this level of performance, I think you'll be promoted to #1 driver. So let's make sure we get a good result today.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Welcome, guys, to the race. Unfortunately, you didn't see any intro from Crofty because the F1 FOM graphics were displaying over the whole time. And if you upload anything that has those graphics on screen, then you'll get copyright striked on YouTube. So just bear that in mind for you guys. But yeah, here we are, Canadian Grand Prix. I can't believe how competitive we are at this racetrack, given the car that we're in. But 5 red lights, and away we go for this Canadian Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso up next. Let's see if we can possibly find a way around him. Our first lap encounters in the race have actually been really good, making a lot of positions. Let's hopefully continue that trend today, but looks like we're only going to hold position for the moment. The engineer right now, as we're going through turn 3 and 4, is telling me about a gearbox issue, so that's great to see that our issues from qualifying have followed us over to the race. And it must be said, our gearbox as well is around 50%, so it's not at the point where it's really bad. It's just, you know, halfway. It's like midlife crisis kind of stuff, and it's given up on life. But either way, up the inside of Fernando Alonso. Sorry, I'm not talking about the task at hand, but we slide up the inside of our teammate, and that is P15 for the taking. Next up, Daniel Kvyat in a massive train of cars. They brake really slowly. You saw there, I was not going for the move. I was just braking normally, and those guys were just braking so slowly that we managed to make up ground from about 200 meters back. Outrageous. But either way, Grosjean has got around the outside of my teammate. He's trying to find a way around me, and I show him the outside. He's pretty much boxed in, so there's no way he can overtake us, and we hold the line on the inside and onto 15th place. There's a yellow flag back there. I'm not too sure what that was for, but we carry on to lap 3. Pascal Wehrlein is now in the mix as well, so a lot of positions.
Engine is showing small signs of wear. Power output will be down.
And that's more good news. I love working for McLaren Hondas. Nothing but you know, daffodils and rainbows and sunshine and puppies. It's amazing. Nothing but good news at this race team. It's fantastic. But either way, like I was saying, positions are getting squabbled for left, right, and centre behind me, and it looks like the same case for in front of me as well, as Kvyat is next up in line in this train, and we actually got the inside there. Very opportunistic move. He's on the slower compounder tyre as well, so I did fancy the move, and we are probably going to lose out here. He's got better straight line speed, and my power unit that I'm running for this one isn't faring too well. I decided to go with my second most used power unit for this one. I debated using a new one, but I thought no, for Canada we're not going to be on the pace anyway, so I thought let's chuck in one of the older ones that we've used for the last couple of rounds. Sergio Perez is out of the Grand Prix, by the way. Hopefully a safety car can come out.
Okay, bad news on the gearbox. The team are trying everything they can think of, but they're not optimistic. Just keep at it, do your best, that's all we can ask. Our gap to the car in front is 3.0 seconds.
you serious? Is there any good news going to come out of this round? It's freaking unbelievable. Gearbox problems in qualifying. Gearbox problems at the start of this race telling me to avoid shifting too much. And now we've properly lost a gear. I lost the back end as well heading into turn 1 because I lost 6th gear. And now we're going to get mugged by Daniel Kvyat, the guy who we just worked so hard to overtake. He's now going to fly past us on the straight because as soon as we go from team radio.
A mechanical issue means you've lost one of the gears. Say again, you have lost access to one of the gears.
Thanks, Jeff. I hear you loud and clear. I heard you at the start of the lap. But yeah, as soon as we shift up from 5th straight up to 7th, the engine bogs down even more than what it did previously, and it just makes us an absolute sitting duck on the straights. That's Max Verstappen going around the outside of both of us, potentially heading into the final chicane. Kvyat was up my inside. I didn't care. I turned in anyway and held onto the position. Here's the replay. 3 wide for all of us there, and we only just managed to hold on to that position by the skin of our teeth there. He was up our inside. We left the space ever so slightly, but it's P12 for the moment. I think a couple people might have pitted, but yeah, I'm not sure. The gearbox is only at 57%, so I consider us quite unlucky to be having issues with it so early on in its life. We've only done like 3 races with it, so it's pretty outrageous. But as we rejoin onto lap 9, I actually got gear 6 back, and it caught me out because I didn't have to shift down as many gears to get down to a gear 2 or 3, and so it meant I was a gear too high for the hairpin and just completely ran wide. So that was a lovely little surprise. But Lewis Hamilton setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Kvyat is gone, and I'm gone as well, as they've just gone both into the Wall of Champions. I think that was Kvyat who started all of it. We've lost our front wing. I actually can't believe that. Here's the replay. He just gets on the curb and he just goes straight on. And yeah, I ran into the back of Max, and then the major damage was done when I ran into the back of Kvyat, and that's game over for our race. Oh, man. That sucks. That honestly sucks. I don't know what happened to Kvyat there. It's not like he went in too hot either. It's almost like he stopped turning. But into the pits. Going to change our front wing. I think at this point, having an engine failure or a gearbox failure would probably put us out of our misery here. Would mean we could get a free gearbox for the next race possibly. I'm not too sure, but it's going to be near impossible to score points from here. We need a safety car. Yeah, we need a safety car. Simple as that. And we need a massive crash at the same time. So I got my fingers crossed. There actually is a yellow flag as Lance Stroll, I believe, has a puncture and might be out of the race.
Full course caution. The safety car is out. Keep an eye on the Delta.
So there we go. I was hoping and praying for a safety car for the 3 laps after that I had the incident with the Kvyat, and thankfully enough we got one very shortly after. So as you saw on that previous tracking shot, we were very, very close to getting lapped by Kimi Räikkönen. I would have guessed like 3 laps and he would have caught us. The gap was about 10 seconds or less, but we unlap ourselves from the safety car, and we're going to come into the pits and fit on a set of super soft tyres. I think from here we should be able to make it to the end. So fingers crossed that is all fine. In the last pit stop, the engineer decided it would be a good idea to fit ultra softs for my strategy. I actually had the softs selected, but the team automatically changed that for me on the sly, and I didn't realise until after the pit stop was made. So cheers, Jeff, for that one. Really appreciate it. But there you can see as well just how close we are to getting lapped again as we make our second pit stop of the race. And lap 17, the safety car has been called back to the pit lane. So that safety car period that I thought was going to bail us out of the race hasn't really done much, in all honesty. All we really got was a free pit stop. But apart from that, we're really no closer to the pack than what we were before the safety car came out. Well, we're slightly closer. We may not get lapped now, but we are still miles behind everyone else in this Grand Prix. And yeah, that's really quite disappointing. We might be near Fernando as he actually rejoins on the track now. The gap is about 5 seconds. He's on the soft compound tyres, so there is that little cherry dangling in front of me. And I guess my motivation now for the rest of this race is to try and chase down my teammate on a much slower compound. So we'll see what we can do. We're going to run rich revs. We've got a lot of fuel in reserve, so let's chase down Nando and see what we can do.
Fernando is ahead of you. Okay, gap ahead is 1.7 seconds. You're closing in by around 1.4 seconds a lap. They're on fresh softs. The time last lap was a 1:17.5.
Okay, so just visually, you can see how much we are catching Fernando. His lap times are pretty terrible as well. He's in the 17, so I'm not too sure what's going on. Does he have a problem? He might be nursing some car issues. Of course, he is in the same car as us, so anything's possible. It's hard to tell. Actually, he's really understeered. They're almost into the wall. We'll have a look on the replay. But I was going to say, like, a lot of different AI are managing different issues with their cars, and Nando might be managing something as well as having some, I don't know, setup issues or steering issues. But yeah, we're doing our best here. We're chasing him down. We're in the slipstream here, and we might put him under pressure on this next lap and overtake him. This would be really crucial. Oh my goodness! Please go a bit slower through that corner. He must be having brake issues? I don't know. It's weird. He's so slow in the mid-corner. He just can't turn the car. It's really weird. Slipstream DRS, and there we go, into 17th place, and we are ahead of our first team driver. This move was crucial as well because, like I said, we're on the verge of becoming the first team driver for McLaren, and if we can get points over Nando in the rivalry, then that, you know, makes a huge difference for our career mode going forward into Season 2. If we become the first driver, we get bonuses for, you know, resource points and all that stuff whenever we do well in races. But lap 31, Fernando got lapped, and now we're getting lapped by Sebastian Vettel. So with 4 laps to go, actually 3 on Vettel's screen, he's on the verge of ending Kimi Raikkonen's 5, 6, 7 race winning streak, and there it is. It is finally over. It is a win for Sebastian Vettel, and Kimi's reign is now over. Not quite yet over, as he probably still finished on the podium, but either way, across the line for us. Pretty disastrous race. The less said about this one, the better. I say, let's just move on straight to Baku.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more.
So there we go, guys. That has been the Canadian Grand Prix. Apologies about the incident halfway through the race. The last thing I expected was an AI to crash like directly in front of me. I probably could have done better in reacting to that. Probably not. I probably couldn't do anything against running into the back of Verstappen, I think it was. But I think the contact with Kvyat probably was avoidable. So yeah, just apologies about that one. Completely ruined our race. The safety car would have really got us in the game as well. And it looks like the people who all did one stops were all very, very competitive today. So we probably would have made the most of that as well. So yeah, disappointing to miss out on potentially some more points. But I feel like we're making gains. Just not with the car. That seems to be pretty painstakingly slow. But just with my progress in adapting to this handling model, I feel like I'm slowly getting to grips and how to get the most out of this car. I feel like I can almost hold my own in races now. I don't feel like I'm massively under threat by cars anymore. So yeah, it's a massive positive, and when the car gets quicker as well, we're just going to be even more of a threat. But that's the end of the Grand Prix. We're going to move on now and see what Chris has to say in the way of the next upgrade.
Right, some bad news on the development front. One of the parts failed quality control. We know how to fix it, but it'll take some extra resource. It's on hold for now, but you can order the extra work from the laptop at any time.
I feel like this is beyond a joke now. Not only are we so slow, the reliability is just crap. Like, even the upgrades don't work. That's so demoralizing. Like, it completely undoes all the hard work we put in on Fridays. If parts literally fail every time, like, I feel like we're not making any progress in this career mode, and that is so frustrating. But hopefully we can turn this around soon. I need your advice in all honesty. You guys have probably progressed further in the career mode than I have now. Where should I spend my points? Am I being too stupid and just going straight up for upgrades? Should I be working more on durability and making sure the R&D, parts upgrades, should I make sure that they actually work or are not going to fail before I start upgrading? Let me know down in the comments, because at this point I feel like I might be taking the car in the wrong direction, which is really disappointing, because I wanted to get this car as quick as what I possibly could, by the end of the first season. It doesn't look like, we're making too much progress 7 races in. But let me know. I need your advice. Hopefully it can benefit both of us. And, we can really get stuck in with the pack in the second half of the season. One thing we do have up our sleeve, though, is fresh engines, I guess. We've really only used 2 at this stage. So, we kind of have that up our sleeve. But, if we're too slow to make the most of it, then what's the point, in all honesty? But, yeah, hopefully the AI run into a lot of issues with their, power units, gearboxes, and the like in the next few races. That would be rather grand to, boost the spirits. But in the next Grand Prix, we have Azerbaijan. And, that one's it's even more of a power track than here, and maybe even Monza. So I'm not too sure what to do there. I'm considering maybe just sacrificing the first power unit, sending that out for the Grand Prix, and just running that till it blows up, because I'm not too sure if we'll get points there anyway. But I don't know, I could be wrong. I might surprise myself like I did in this race. I was not expecting to be, anywhere near competitive at Canada, but we almost made it out of Q1, so anything's possible. We might even get a bloody race win, who knows, for the next race. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and see plenty more F1 2017 content. I'm a little bit downbeat at the moment, but hopefully we can turn things around soon. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.